Hello and welcome everybody to session 9 of my Pillars of Eternity Lorethrough White March edition. We are currently in Stalwart. Last session we examined the souls of Tenna and Owynna at the Grave's Rest. We have to awaken one of those two souls to find the chant that opens the entrance to Durgan's battery. Down here at the fishery, we found a bracelet of Grind. We were looking for evidence of him being a ripple sponge addict. And we found out that not only was he a ripple sponge addict, but he killed his sister accidentally, but he killed his sister in order to cover that up. And then when we found that out, he attacked us rather than come in peacefully. So I think we are going to next, I want to awaken this soul, and I think the right soul to awaken is going to be Owynna. The soul in Tenna seemed very strong, maybe a little bit too rash, and maybe would have taken control of her. Owynna is at the Grave's Rest, and she seems a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Her duties seem a little bit overbearing for her. Like she seems overworked, not through the innkeeper's fault or anything, but she is the only one there that's doing that. And I think maybe the more gentle soul that was in her might actually be a help. So let's go talk with Owynna.
Something I can do for you? Halfrick's got me straightening the rooms, but I'll help you if I can.
Awaken, Gregor, and remember your theft from the armory.
Who? I don't...
Her face goes slack, and she looks for a second as if she's fallen asleep. But her eyelids flutter, and after several seconds they open to slits.
Thief? I'm the captain of the guard. Best be careful where you sling an accusation like that.
Her words are slow and calculated. Show some remorse. You've abused your position and the trust of your people.
I performed my duties as captain. And if the honored coinmaster Zoltan can sell Durgan steel, why shouldn't I? Say, you looking for a deal? Because I can make deals.
Look around. You're in no position to make demands.
I see.
Her expression flickers, but she otherwise hides her surprise.
You have me at a loss, and yet this is not a loss entirely.
She looks herself over, holding out her arms and feeling the fabric of her clothing. I need to reach Durgan's battery. The Cantek, please.
Hammers of Durgan, ring loud. May the anvil's deep music resound. Walls of the battery safeguard our works from marauder and wilder alike. Abidun's faithful travail by the forge, and the fires that brighten the ore. If anyone asks, you didn't hear it from me. Got that?
Owynna doubles over, sneezing hard enough to scatter dust across the floor. She looks back up at you, wiping her watering eyes. I hope she's okay. Okay, so hammers of Durgan ring loud, may the anvil's deep music resound. Walls of the battery safeguard our works from marauder and wilder alike. Abaddon's faithful travail by the forge and the fires that brighten the ore. Yeah, doesn't seem like much lore there, just a little color.
Beg your pardon for going on so. I got carried away and...
She stops, blinking.
What was that I said? About hammers and fires and...
Her eyes grow wide and round. You're awakened. You share the soul of a guard captain from Durgan's battery.
You must be joking. How could that happen?
I awakened you. I needed information about the battery.
I can't be awakened. That means...
She takes a step back, covering her mouth with her hands.
Thunderous tides, I'm stuck with him.
Her body goes rigid, every muscle tensing. She stands there, frozen in shock, until a sly look warms her eyes. The thaw creeps down her shoulders and torso until at last she speaks again, her voice as smooth as oil.
It's not all bad, Owynna. Way I see it, you and me can make some deals. To our mutual benefit.
She cranes her neck, taking in the dark room.
Deals? What do you want from me? For you, not from you. I'm thinking it's time we got a raise. I don't know about that. Halfrick's a bit of a miser, he is.
Owynna's anxious frown replaces Gregor's confident smirk.
Don't you worry about Hafric. I've got something else in mind.
Owynna falls into a look of deep contemplation as she and Gregor continue in silent conference. Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. Owynna might... maybe we'll start stealing, but... I mean... that's not too bad. Maybe she'll be better compensated for her work. I do wish we were able to get consent from one of these people before we awaken the soul in them, but, you know, guess you can't. Okay, so the wax maker is done. Palagina's patron was silent about the source of their leads, but the notes quickly proved to be valuable. A grimoire sail in the Seathwood and notes from a dead Red Saren wizard pointed the way toward 3 other wizards that were unwittingly performing research based on Galef's stolen notes. Spread across the eastern reach, the wizards were amiable enough, but quite unwilling to part with their own extensive notes. After reporting back to the patron's servant, Palagina discovered that no additional services were required. It wasn't until after returning to Cadnua that Palagina learned of the grisly deaths of the 3 wizards, all under suspicious circumstances. A short time later, a package arrived via guard courier. It was addressed to Palagina, and the note inside simply read, "A gift," in an antiquated hand. We got the Hellwax mold. This hinged mold has the amazing power to fully duplicate non-soulbound weapons, shields, armor, and other equipment placed inside of it. The immense magical energy required to fabricate the copy uses a mold for raw material and wholly consumes it in the process. That's cool. I don't know if we'll ever end up using that, but that's cool. Okay. So I think we'll do the bounties, and then we'll head into Durgan's battery. Do the bounties, and then tell Galvino what happened with Grinda, and then go to the battery. Probably get sidetracked by a million things. We also have... we have that map of... ooh. There was a map, and there was some treasure hidden that we never found. And I think I might have just found it. But we'll see.
Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
Nope, never mind. Yeah, I thought maybe that was it, but nope. Okay. Pretty sure he said one of the bounties was in Long Watch. All right. Where is this person? Just make sure I'm not. Last seen in the russet wood. That's where I am, right? Yeah. Maybe it's in this cave? Since the wolves aren't there, he moved in. Nope. Okay, I don't even know where we haven't looked at this point. There we go. Okay, so we have a necromancer, conjurer. Whoops. Okay. Oh, they're all confused. Or dominated, maybe. Man, who is... They have a cipher? Oh, this is old Dunran people. So maybe that's why.
Beyond sea.
Okay, so I'm onto the second part of Stormcaller. I need to kill 5 druids with Stormcaller to unlock the next level. Or kill 25 enemies. Okay. I'm gonna say, what if I don't run into 5 druids? Okay. Have the Cape of the Master Mystic grants invisibility when hit by a critical hit. Plus 12 deflection grants minor arcane reflection. The Cape of the Master Mystic was a gift to Kulklin King in the days before the Kulklin and Edir kingdoms joined to form the Edir Empire. It was imbued with spells and magic to protect the wearer, and so it was extremely useful for travel through some of the contested regions of the border with Edir. So, just as a reminder, the Edir kingdom, they are ruled by a Fairquening, which is a human king, and the May Queen, was it the May Queen? Which is a Kulklin elf. They cannot have children, but they are considered the rulers. Although I think the Kulklin elf ruler is more of like a figurehead as a way to kind of console the Kulklin elves so they didn't rise up or something like that. I could be wrong about that though, but that's what these are references to. The king gave the cape to his children while they traveled, and years later they used it to protect their own children. The tradition continued for years after the formation of the Eder Empire until a Kuklin princess traveled with the cape, eloped with the captain of her personal guard. The princess and her lover were never heard from again, but the cape surfaced decades later in Deerwood. And give that to Aloth. And this was Lanric's head. Okay, off to Longwatch Falls, yep. All right, West Curtain Wall constructed. I think that's everything. Let me just make sure nothing got destroyed. No, we're good. Okay. Let's see if it gives us more. Preparing anyone who dares to hunt dragons, someone has requested that the senseless violence comes to an end. Setting up camp in the wilds around Longwatch Falls. Okay, so. Yep. I guess we missed them before. What is this? I guess I just missed them before. Here we go. Let's get this druid fixed first.
Not getting through me.
Wonder if those druids count no matter who kills them for Sagani's weapon. Yep. So I need 2 more druids. Hope we can find them soon. We got Firedorn's head. Nothing unique. I feel like most of these are good. Something unique.
Of course.
Right, let's turn in these bounties. And return to Durgan's battery. I think Adair. Someone made him change his weapon at one point, but everyone else seemed okay. Brought you Firedorn's head. That's a relief. A fellow like that was bound to cause trouble, even if he was crazy. Here, this is for you. I'm here for the bounty on the old Dunrid hunting lodge. Thank Owynna, and you, of course. I'd be honest, I'd worried these fools were going to end up here and burn down the rest of the village. He gives you a purse that's full almost to the point of bursting. Great, I don't have any more bounties. Alright, so we're good with the bounties. And everybody leveled up. Very nice. Alright, let's just go down the line. Adair first. So for Adair, I upped his survival to 10, and I got him vigorous defense. Once per encounter, I can become fiercely determined to deflect all incoming blows, dramatically increasing all defenses for a short time. Next, we will do Bjartur. So for Bjartur, I upped his athletics to 4, so he now has athletics of 5. And I got both of the level 8 Cypher spells available. Reaping Knives, where I use an ally's soul to create blades of pure energy that emerge from both hands. The blades do raw damage and generate focus for the Cypher who created them, and Defensive Mind Web, by linking his or her mind with those of nearby allies, the caster creates a series of defensive links between them. All allies in the Mind Web use the best defense of anyone in the web. That might be good for the dragon. Okay, taxes, nothing new. A major adventure? That's it? I wonder if I have done all of the quests available, so now they're just generic adventures. Okay, next on to Durance. So for Durance, I left his skills alone because I wanted to up my mechanics, and I didn't have enough to do that at one point. Then we got some level, I think these are level 8 spells here. The priest calls forth a beam of light that heals allies and burns enemies caught in the ray. That's the Hand of Weal and Woe. Symbol of Mogren emblazons the ground with the symbol of Mogren, periodically causing burn damages to enemies in the area and leaving them blinded. And Watchful Guardian, the priest's faith becomes a wellspring of indomitability for his or her allies. When an affected ally is knocked unconscious in battle, he or she will immediately be revived and have some endurance healed. Oh. Okay. And then Devotions of the Faithful is a level 4 spell, but I forget the word now. I've now got it so that where I can use it per encounter rather than per rest. It doesn't count against my spell pool. Invokes the benediction of the priest god, imbuing allies in the area of effect with accuracy and might bonuses, while enemies receive penalties to the same. Next, Kana. For Kana, I upped his survival 3, so he now has a survival of 4, and I got this new chant: with all your strength slay the beast. The chanter increases allies' accuracy and damage against all enemies of the beast type. Not sure if I'll end up using that, but I figured I'd grab it. Those things that are against a certain enemy type, while I'm sure if you're playing on a harder difficulty and need to micromanage a lot, then they can be extremely helpful. But for me, playing on normal, it doesn't it's more of a hassle than it's actually worth. Okay, on to Aloth. For Aloth, I upped his athletics +1. I think he's got 5 now. And I got the 2 spells Delayed Fireball. The wizard hurls out a tiny ball of flame that sits for a fixed amount of time before exploding for heavy burn damage. And Wilting Wind. The parching wind blows across the battlefield, inflicting raw damage on anyone in the area and leaving them weakened. And then I mastered Fireball. I think that's the word I was looking for with Durance. So now I can cast Fireball per encounter rather than per rest. Lastly, we have Sagani. For Sagani, I upped her stealth +1. She's got 9 or 10 now, I forget. And I got Stunning Shots. Takes advantage of enemy distraction while engaged by the ranger's animal companion, stunning the enemy as a secondary attack when the ranger lands a hit or critical hit. Okay. So we have a level 15 adventuring party now. We're going to return to Durgan's Battery. I wonder, this is a new... I feel like this is a new exit right here. I wonder if this has to do with that chasm that we saved that guy from falling into. Well, first I wanted to go to Galvinos, let him know what happened.
The devil has not scorched you yet, eh? Perfetto.
I have news about Grind.
Yes? Does the sniveling cur hide in his home? Or has he been exiled to a place even more frigid and foul?
I learned that he murdered his sister.
Diverus! The man is even more of a wretch than I thought.
His face glows with macabre delight, so yeah, I was right.
What of him now? Surely the villagers string him up with his own fishing line.
When he saw what I was up to, he attacked. I had to kill him.
I would have preferred that he did not escape his ignominy so quickly. Still, I am grateful for your help. I will open a good wine tonight. As for you, take this.
Farewell. Okay. I don't feel great about that quest. It is time to enter into the actual Durgan's Battery. I should remind myself why we're doing this again. I was just thinking that we had to awaken a soul without that person's consent in their body because we just had to get into Durgan's Battery. Is there a good reason we have to get into Durgan's Battery, or were they just like, yeah, when you get in there? So let's see if I can find that out, actually. Durgan's Battery. So let's see. The people of Stalwart have asked me to open up Durgan's Battery, a deserted dwarven fortress, and find the White Forge. Their mayor, Renengild, will probably have more information on this matter. Renengild has summoned me to her house. No doubt she has additional information. Fantastic. It doesn't... I mean, maybe it's just because Stalwart's going down and they need to get in there. I don't know, though. Okay. Hammers of Durgan ring loud. May the anvil's deep music resound. Walls of the battery safeguard our works from marauder and wilder alike. Abaddon's faithful travail in the forge, and the fires that brighten the ore. I don't know if I'm going to have to remember the words, so... Hammers of Durgan ring loud. Distantly you hear the melodic chime of metal on meadow. So the hammers ring loud. Push, strike. Strike the anvil relief. As you do, a single ringing tone whistles through the air. Your hand buzzes and vibrates like struck metal. When you look back at the relief, the panels on either side of the wall and anvil have come together. Ogres and warriors of all races gather for battle, their shapes and silhouettes formed by flaring world heat patterns. The tiny figures move and dance, animated by the flicker and blaze of an unseen fire. Walls of the battery safeguard our works from marauder and wilder alike. You hear the heavy thud of some kind of mechanism loosening behind the plate. This time I am going to push the crenellated... Oh, strike the warriors. Okay, let's do that. Strike the warriors. The buzz of essence fades and the relief reverts to its original... Now, I should have gone with my initial thing, which was to push the wall. Oh well. Hammers of Durgan, strike the anvil. Walls of the battery safeguard. So let's try it. Push the crenellated wall relief. It slides easily with the slightest pressure from your fingers. You guide it up over the anvil relief where it clicks into place. Beneath it is a deep cavity. It's shaped like a dragon's gaping jaws. So we see that this is changing as we go through. At first, it was just the anvil in the wall. After the first, when we struck the anvil, these warriors appeared on either side, and now that we pushed it, it opens up to the dragon's mouth. Abaddon's faithful travail by the forge and the fires that brighten the ore. Warm air gusts from the open mouth, tingling your cold-numbed face. Stick your weapon into the cavity, stick your finger into the cavity. Examine the mouth more closely. The heat billowing from the mouth prevents you from getting too close, but the rim of the cavity and the tiny teeth surrounding it are blackened with soot. You accidentally inhale some of the vapor. It's odorless, but it leaves you lightheaded. You also notice that the dragon's tongue is a fire striker. It's hinged and attached to a chunk of flint. I'm going to use my torch to light a fire in the mouth. Fire catches the warm vapors with a billowing whoosh. The dragon's eyes are alight and the flames lick at the edges of its mouth. A few seconds later, the panel is sliding away from you as the two enormous doors swing open into a grand hall. So this is the first time this is opening in a long time. Okay, we are in. So I have opened Durgan's battery.
And what does the flame reveal?
Easy, Itumak. I feel it too.
Yep. It's just a major adventure. Must have done them all. The statue of Abaddon is modeled and tarnished, but each bolt and rivet appears crafted with meticulous detail.
And the fire shows me something new.
We earned this. Durgan's steel has lined our halls in gold.
Your vanity dishonors Abaddon and cheapens us all.
These weapons are ours. Or have you two forgotten how to hold a sword?
If they need reminders that they're dead, I'd be happy to oblige them.
So that was Coinmaster Zoltan, Chief Curate Exandru, and Arms Warden Maroon. We have heard of all of these so far. They were talking on the outside about Exandru and Maroon, and that guy did not want to piss off Maroon. And Coinmaster Zoltan is the person who was selling the weapons that the captain, I think it was a captain, was stealing from, of the soul that was attached to Owynna's soul. You can hear voices whispering or talking in the distance.
I can do that. That's settled.
Damn you both! My generation built this keep to honor Abaddon, not to further your greed and ambition.
We're Pargrunen. Our forefathers explored and conquered, but you've stuck us in this frigid hall.
Speaking to, the dwarves are very nomadic in Aora, and Arms Warden Maroon seems to be pointing that out, whereas Exandru kind of worships this place, this battery. Maroon feels like it's a kind of prison.
Paved with gold and marble. I won't allow us to abandon our legacy for your delusions.
No, you'll peddle it away to line your pockets. How much have you made selling our steel, Zoltan?
Again with your lies. You think I don't hear you turning the others against me? These walls echo, and...
Enough! I'll send the Forge Guardians on both of you if that's what it takes.
Who's the fourth person that was there?
I shall be quiet. I can do that. That's settled.
Battery defenders. Battery shield wall.
Nice and quiet.
I wonder if we get a bestiary ante for that. Battery guards. The fate of the dwarves of Durgan's battery remained a mystery to scholars for 200 years. What little was known indicated that the dwarves had been divided by a great disagreement among their commandants. They locked the doors of the battery and have never emerged again. These skeletons are the size of dwarves, and the armor they wear was once of excellent quality, much like the legendary Durgan steel. Unlike most skeletons, they fight in organized battle formations. Their skill and discipline in battle make them formidable foes, as does their sturdy armor. So this is what happened to the Pargrunen dwarves that lived here, I guess. And it seems like they still have at least a little bit of their old senses, because they are forming organized battle formations as they fight. Record of production. Here is a current accounting of the month's production. 20 longswords, 15 axes, 12 hammers, 7 maces, 2 flails. 7 full suits of armor for Forge Guardians. Forge Guardians? 3 additional suits of armor. If the Commandant's remark on production rates, kindly remind them that we received 3 different work orders from them. Vassal, Master Smith of Durgan's Battery. Maybe that's who that other person was that I was wondering about. A note in another hand is written at the bottom of the page. What does Xander need with so many Forge Guardians? Keep an eye on him. That must be Maroon, the M there. So they're making Forge Guardians, and Maroon did not like it. She was concerned with what he was going to do with them. You think you glimpse flickers of movement in this tarnished, clouded mirror. Wraith here. Battery defenders, battery priest. Let's see if we can get to the priest first.
You're not getting through me.
I'll take a look.
Of course.
Oh, over here, okay.
Something over there.
Most of these crates and barrels are empty and several are overturned. It looks as if they were cleared out in a hurry. Bill of sale. You unroll the scroll and see an inventory of weapons and armor, swords, shields, breastplates, and helms. All are listed as sold to Lucan of Dunreed. The bill is signed as by Commandant Zoltan, coinmaster of Durgan's Battery. So we already knew that Zoltan was selling Durgan's Battery, Durgan Steel things to people and making money off of that. Shimmering cloak. Just regular spirits.
See now what the flame has shown us?
He's a traitor to the battery.
That was just a voice that we heard in the smoke or something?
See now what the flame has shown us? I can do that. That's settled.
I wonder how I was able to even get with that. It's like covered by ice. Encased within a thick sheet of ice, this dwarven corpse has been remarkably preserved, though his features are obscured by the frost. Clutched in the dwarf's hand is a large cloth-wrapped bundle, perhaps a pack. Hold a torch to the ice. You set the torch beside the frozen figure. By slow degrees, the ice around the dwarf's hands begin to melt, though the water occasionally threatens to douse your torch. In time, enough ice falls away that you're able to reach the satchel. The contents of the satchel are largely unharmed. You find a handful of stamped coins, some papers, and a scroll, along with a heavy iron key. Further searching uncovers nothing. Got 150 copper, a scroll of Restore Major Endurance, and a rolled parchment. To look at that. Guard's key. Alright, where's the rolled parchment? There it is. The rolled parchment says, Maroon's getting suspicious. I've got her sniffing after Zoltan for the time being, but she'll keep an eye on me. I had the lads put the last shipment in with the coal and a cart across the tracks. I'm counting on you to make sure it gets topside. You don't mind getting your hands dirty, right? So Maroon was blaming Zoltan for something that Gregor was doing. Gregor was the captain, I think, that inhabited Owynna's soul.
Nice and quiet.
She'll bring these walls down around us.
Yeah, this looks like it's like this smoke or mist or whatever's up here where these voices are coming from. Like they somehow survived, like their soul essence is still in this smoke. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency is an Abaddon text, which makes sense being here.
Get out! Out!
So it's at these doors that this happens.
Laying low.
How long before the commandants come to blows?
Did you see the look in Maroon's eye? Exandro had better watch his back.
So further hints that there was some kind of breakdown of order amongst the leadership here. That's cool looking. There's that new cipher spell of Bjarter's, where we share our defenses.
Quietly now. All right, then.
Zoltan's the only one with sense. Anyone who says otherwise is a fool.
That cheat sold our steel and kept the coin himself.
Maroon? She won't rest until our corpses decorate the halls.
And the fire shows me something.
So, further... what's the word I'm looking for here? It's not proof, but I'm going to say that. Further proof that at some point there was some kind of breakdown of order and the people were taking sides. A bronze statue of Abaddon stands over incense ash and rusted metal tokens. So that is a statue of Abaddon right there. Sorry if you can hear my dog.
Traitors! Cowards!
I feel like... I feel like these guys should be able to set off the traps too.
Nice and quiet.
Alright. Those stairs are over there.
Something over there.
Tables, shields, and collapsed stones have been piled up to form an impassable barricade. Got the guard key already, so that's a special story place, so let's wait to go there.
We've got to survive, by any means necessary.
We'll have blood in these halls before long.
So while some people were taking sides, it seems like some people were just worried about what was going to happen next. Can I talk to them? I can't. The statue of Abaddon is modeled and tarnished, but each bolt and rivet appears crafted with meticulous detail. Arms Warden Maroon. As you approach the door, a wave of essence ripples through the air. The ancient stones grind and groan around you, and a woman's voice echoes from the hall.
Stop right there. You must be some merchant come to speak with Zoltan.
There's a pause in which the woman's wrathful essence gathers like a storm cloud on the other side of the door. The entire room creaks from the pressure of her presence. I think I liked it better when I thought all this haunting business was just villager's tale, says Sagani.
Our illustrious coin master may let you plunder our armory, but I've got other ideas for dealing with your lot.
Her voice is sharp and loud like the slamming of a door. As her words echo in the chamber, the ghosts startle and flinch, glancing about in agitation.
Turn and go before I show you how an arms warden deals with trespassers.
So is her soul in this door? What's going on here?
Pargrunan quarrels are no business of yours, outsider.
Her tone is as cold as the icy halls around you. Who are you?
I'm Maroon, proud Pargrin and arms warden of Durgan's battery. And you're answering my questions now.
Stone grinds and crumbles at the sound of her voice. A group called the Leaden Key is seeking something here. The ghosts stir, looking around and shivering. Their eyes widen and glow as they light on you, as if they're noticing you for the first time. Just as quickly, they gaze away and seem to forget you once more, but now they seem alert, wary.
Whoever you're searching for, I haven't seen them. And none get past me. Leave our halls. Go back to whatever land you hail from.
Okay, let's use my lore. Your foundations were blessed by Abaddon himself. What harm could I possibly do?
You sound like Exandru. At least you're no friend of Zoltan's, then.
A gust of air sighs across your feet.
You may pass, but don't make me regret this. I'll be watching you.
Okay. We will be going there, obviously, but let's see what's in here first.
And what does the flame reveal?
You'll regret this.
Durgan iron ingot. This cast pig iron ingot has been lightly refined in preparation for eventual use in Durgan steel. Without the fire of the White Forge, it has little value. We're going to be able to create Durgan steel weapons. Do not remove any equipment from the armory without permission from Arms Warden Maroon or Captain Gregor. Battered helm. The surface of this ancient helmet is pitted all over with dents like pockmarks on a diseased scalp. 2 crusty sockets on the front mark the absence of what would likely have been horns. This belt, etched with cresting waves, carries a powerful enchantment which allows the wearer to send out a burst of arcane force in a circle around themselves. The burst hits like a crashing wave, often taking them off their feet. Okay, so that just gives me knockdown.
That's settled.
A unique shield. Badgritter's Barricade. Medium shield. This heater shield bears the Black Wolf of Badgritter line, as well as the personal sigil of the shield's last bearer, Medrune Bagritter. The renowned fighter, Medrune had a reputation for practicality and ingenuity. In his hands, his shield was as much a weapon as his blade. Medrune had a particular fondness for taking on spellcasters, for his shield could reflect his foes' own arrows or spells against them, and a blow to the face from the barricade was usually enough to put an end to the further casting. While their Ungritter cousins went on to rule the Coldwater region, the Badgritters did not survive the War of Defiance. Medrune himself perished in the Battle of Defiance Bay, and his shield passed on in the hands of a series of noble masters before slipping from common recollection. And a fine crossbow. Did I look in here already? Yeah, why didn't I grab that? Oh. Garrod, the world around you blurs and fades to black. When your vision returns, you find yourself in a small wooden hut, its interior dimly lit by the embers in a nearby fire pit. You're wearing mail armor several sizes too large for you, and clutched in your hands is the ivory horn of some sea creature, one end sharpened to a point. What are you going to do, Garrod? What are we going to do, Garrod? Your sister, Keitha, huddles near you, her wide eyes fixated on the hut's door, which has been barred shut. The door shudders and splinters beneath heavy blows coming from the other side. Enraged growling can be heard just beyond the door. All at once the world halts around you. The pounding stops. Wooden splinters from the door hang suspended in the air. Keitha no longer trembles, no longer breathes, her eyes fixed in place like a doll. The wisp of essence you had followed to this point in the memory has dwindled to little more than a faint trail. However, you find by concentrating on what might have happened next, you're able to sense whether it truly did. So I wonder if there's a right choice here, or just different things happen depending on what I choose. Unbar the door and fling it open wide. No sooner does your mind touch on the possibility than the world lurches back into motion. A large creature resembling a bear and taller than any man in your tribe stands just outside the door. Its coal-black eyes widen slightly in confusion when it sees you. Beckon the creature to attack you. Enraged by your audacity, the creature charges, easily swatting you across the hut with one massive paw. As it does so, Keitha dodges past the creature and escapes the hut. Each breath is agony, but you clutch the horn defiantly as the creature advances. The snarling of the creature and your own belabored breathing fades. Is that how it happened? It's been so long, hard to remember. I had the vision when I picked up this battered helm. It's missing the horns. A helm, yes, my helm. I remember it, but who was I? Why haven't I returned to the wheel? Maybe if you knew who you were, you would know whether it was time to move on. That helm is all that remains of my old life. If you have found some of me within one piece, perhaps my memories are scattered within the rest of it. Perhaps there's a piece to be found in reassembly. I'll track down the other parts of your helm. Thank you, my friend. So I wonder if my choices there were right, or like your choices make this helmet different depending on what you chose. Okay, so that will do it for this session. We are over an hour because I wasn't expecting to get that little vision at the end there. So thank you, as always, for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments or anything like that. Please type them below. I'd love to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you again in session 10. Thanks, everybody, and goodbye.